To get connected to the internet, you need three things. The first is you need a computer, second thing you need is a modem, and the third thing you need will be a gateway to an internet access provider.
It doesn't matter really how powerful your machine is, because this isn't very high overhead software. It's not like the huge bloated word processors or spreadsheets or other pieces of software that we're seeing these days. This is neat, tight little piece of software which will run, versions of which you'll find to run on just about any machine you have.
A modem is a device which enables you to telephone to an access provider.
People sometimes think that if they're using an individual bulletin board or commercial service, that they are accessing the internet, but there is a difference.
If you use a bulletin board, you dial up and you go onto that environment, and however good and however interesting bulletin board is, and a lot of them are very interesting, it's a closed and finite environment. It may be networked to other bulletin boards, but it's essentially closed. When you go onto the internet, you go from site to site. There are no limitations. It's like thousands, hundreds of thousands of bulletin boards and other resources all joined together, and you just hop from one to the other and zoom around.
In order to connect with the internet, your bulletin board or commercial service provider needs to have a gateway or link to the rest of the internet. So there are three main types of service providers. Firstly, access via an account with a commercial online service, for example Kix, Delphi or CompuServe. Secondly, a dial-up direct connection with a service provider like Daemon or EasyNet. Or thirdly, email-only access, either through a bulletin board or the WinNet service offered by the PC user group. The Staffels have been connected to a commercial service called CompuServe since September 1994. They mainly use CompuServe's own forums or discussion groups, but Andrew, 13, has been dialing into bulletin boards outside CompuServe, including one which involves a role-playing game. CompuServe doesn't provide full access to the rest of the internet. At the moment, you can only use email or Usenet to communicate with people who don't have a CompuServe account.
Before we had this, I'd never used a computer at all. Within a week, I was able to work my way around it quite well.
Kix is a system that's based in the UK, and it's a nationwide UK bulletin board, and it's charged on a per minute basis with a minimum monthly fee. You charge for how long you're connected to the system. Minimum is about £7.50 a month.
The second type of access provider is a company that provides a direct connection to the internet. This is probably the best option if you want to use a fully graphical web browser as shown here. There are several factors to consider when choosing a provider. The first is the location of the number that you're going to dial into. This is called a point of presence or POP.
We provide points of presence all over the country to enable you to choose which point of presence you wish to connect to. This has the advantage that firstly you can hopefully make local phone calls, not long distance, and secondly, if you travel, you can choose another of our points of presence.
The main cost you're going to have is going to be your telephone calls, so find a provider who's got a dialing point closest to you.
The charges involved in signing up with an internet access provider revolve around the initial fixed cost and then the monthly cost.
should ask some questions of your providers. How many modems have they got on average, and what's their user to modem ratio? Do they have any guarantees of how high their user to modem ratios will go?
Can you get onto the point of presence that you want to use at no extra cost when you want to use it? Ask for the phone number. It's probably in the information pack you get sent. Dial it. If you get engaged, redial it. If it's engaged 5 times, phone up and say what's going on. Could be that the service is down or something, but do some investigations beforehand.
How much support does your provider give you? Are they there 24 hours a day, or are they there 9 to 5? Do they take lunch breaks? Because I can tell you from experience that there is a provider that doesn't provide support during lunchtime.
In this program, we've demonstrated various software packages. We strongly recommend that you don't buy any software before you join the internet.
You use various different pieces of software to cruise the internet for different purposes. At first it seems a bit confusing, but actually it's quite straightforward. All the software that you need to cruise the internet is available for free and from the internet. When you buy a service account, you will get a bunch of software to get you started, but you'll find that on the internet everything you ever wanted is freely available out there, and it's very, very good software as well.
If you want to find out more about the internet, there are several helpful magazines and books available.
Well, we were talking about email, about Usenet groups, about telnetting, and you're probably frightened that internet is very difficult. Well, internet does have a steep learning curve, but you have to remember that this is worth it. Because when you join and when you know how to do it, then you can be part of a wonderful community. And if you get messages like error or socket out or something like that, don't worry. It's not your fault. It's just this is a live system. You are working on live telephone cables. So occasionally here, there, you won't be able to get where you want to be. But this is not your problem. It's the problem of the connections, which I hope will get better and better. So thank you very much for being with us. And thank you very much for learning. And I hope you will join us online very soon.